And I squeak into place. Squeakity squeak squeak. I also forgot to declutter. Hi guys, can you hear and see me? There is a lot of delay between when I do something and when you can see it. Okay. Awesome! Hi everyone. Hi Cyan, Linux Witch, Jacqueline, Otto, Grace, Heather, Paulo, and Rhiannon. Yeah. Hi Victor. My hands are so super dry, but it's really not a good idea to put moisturizer on your hands when painting. It's actually an awful idea. Hi Geckonia. Yes, how is Crystal today? Crystal the cat. All right. Yeah. Okay. Hi Malvina. Hi Stephen. And Victoria, hi. This is me with the squeaking, the crinkling. But thankfully, no longer the leaf blower outside, because the neighbor thought it was the best time to take out the leaf blower, of course. Alright, so like I said in the title, today I will be mostly inking and painting this piece, which is something that came up after we were talking about the cats this morning and the fact that they have like 2 breakfasts, 4 lunches, a snack, then a supper, then a snack after supper, you know, like many meals in a day. So yeah, so I decided to draw Scout and Pecco as hobbits, because I thought it would be funny, so that's the one thing. And since I like having a second piece so I can put this aside while it dries and just do something else in the meantime, I quickly doodled this really bad Sam and Dean Winchester, just for fun. And this will be the side piece. Yeah, left is Pecco and right is Scout. To be fair though, I think Pecco should have a bow in her hair. Crystal is doing pretty good, still dealing with swelling and wound healing in general. She's also done the impromptu cone of shame for licking too much. Ah, oh, Crystal! Don't mess this up. I think that's even more in character. Hi, Che. Alright, so I will start inking this. We'll try. Hi, Sakura. Oh, hold on. Sorry about the noise, but since this is not the super thick, oh no, this one will be glary. Uh-oh. Okay, not this one. But I would love to have a firm surface because this paper is just 140 pounds and it's inking over the crinkly paper is going to be difficult. Alright. Not super pretty, but I guess this will do. Yeah, much better. Alright, and I'm gonna ink with the carbon pen, the platinum carbon pen in extra fine. I try Otto, but it's really easy because it sounds a lot like French. Like it's really not that far from French, so the only thing that's more different is the R sound. That's the only thing that's a bit like that I have to make an effort for, but for the rest it's really a lot like French. We tried like when the cats got spayed, females get spayed, right? Anyway, when they got their big operation, they came back here and they were pretty sore and pretty annoyed. And Scout was just grumpy. She would stay in her corner and growl and just annoy. Like, I'm unhappy, don't touch me, leave me alone. But Pico was like really kind of just happy-go-lucky, and she kept like tugging at her stitches because she was like, huh, what's this? What's this on my belly? Tug, tug, tug. And we're like, that's a really bad idea. Your wound is super fresh. Like it's just been made. So we bought a cone of shame and we put it on her, and it was so sad yet so funny because she would go limp. She would go so depressed instantly, like she just would lay down on the counter with her head drooping off the edge and just be like completely melted, like just so sad. And the second we would take the cone off, she would be all happy and playful and start having fun and doing funny things, and then we would just put back the cone and she would go depressed again. So in the end, since I was home at that time, I was working from home, I opted to just remove the cone and check on her more often to make sure she wasn't pulling at her stitches. Yeah, I saw that Crystal has like a holiday color. Like it's very festive. It's kind of funny. Oh wow, Artie. Ooh la la. 4 a.m. Ooh. Nuticles neutered. Oh, good tip. Aw, thanks, Otto. Otto is saying that her cat Maria would not wear a cone of shame. She would panic so much. It's tiaras or nothing for her. Wow. Oh, I forgot to say, but I'm doing this one on a sheet of hot press paper by Arches that I had, like, it was just there, and it's separated from the block. But yeah, instead of like keeping the sheet around and risking like messing it up, I thought I would try to do this painting on it. So it's gonna be a weird surprise to see how the colors behave on this. paper. So how is everyone today? How's your day so far? Oh no, so you got the heat. Like we finally have some decent weather over here. Like it's no longer like boiling outside, but I've seen that people on the I think it's gotten to the west side of the continent because people in LA and California were hotter than usual. It was even hotter than going into a sauna outside because there was wind, you know, it was relatively windy, but it was so warm. I think they said that there's a really sad and absurd amount of people who died in the province here due to the weather. Oh wow, Victor, what did you find in your art room while cleaning up that you didn't expect or had forgotten about? I'm so relieved that the weather is much nicer though. Oh, whew. Yesterday it was such a nice change. It was so nice and cool, and I was like, yay, I can wear like pajama pants again instead of being sweaty in pajama shorts. Oh, the matte is just because it's a firm surface. As this paper is relatively thin, if I put it straight on the crinkly paper, it's not a super stable hard surface for inking. That's the only reason I just grabbed. Usually I would grab like anything, a sheet of plexiglass or masonite or even cardboard would work, but I was looking for something that wouldn't be glary on camera. Oh, so Victor found a small tribe of gnomes living in his art room. So what did you do with them? If you want to ask a question, no problem with that. Just make sure I can see it, because I don't look at the chat all the time. So either you can at me, if you start with the at, and then you start writing my name, it's going to autofill with the rest. Or you can just write question in caps, and then your question in regular type, and there's a better chance for me to spot it. Oh wow, so Victor found a ton of markers, acrylics, and pastels. That's awesome. Well, except for the pastels, you guys know me. But yeah, markers are great, and acrylics are pretty fun as well. So Victor taught the gnomes how to play music, and they are now touring the southeast, sorry. Oh, thanks Otto for the question format. She needs long foot hair. That's already not bad, isn't it? They don't really show what the much details of the lady hobbits in the Hobbits movie. I haven't read the books. I apologize if that offends anyone. But I really love the movies. Whoops. And we regularly marathon them. Not in one sitting, but we will like split the various movies into mini chunks and watch those while eating. I can never tell if this cartridge is full or empty. Like it's perhaps that's the only flaw of this pen. Stephen says, the last week was so warm I didn't feel like standing over any paintings, but it probably would have been a good time to bring out the oil pastels. They would have turned into oil paint. Oh yeah, I read The Hobbit. That one I read. Sorry, I got a brain fart. I read The Hobbit. I was gifted a really nice version of the book with illustrations. So I read that one, but I haven't read Lord of the Rings. Sorry for the noise, that's the vacuum thingy that washes the streets outside, because yeah, sure. Oh, The Hobbit, yeah. What ink are you using in your pen? That's the Platinum Carbon Black ink. Carbon ink. It's the cartridges that go with the pen. It's waterproof ink. It's super easy to install. Yeah, it's a really nice pen and it's super inexpensive and it works fine. I've had it for a couple of years really, and I've only had to clean it once because it got partly clogged. So yeah, I've seen all kind of warnings like if you don't use carbon ink in a pen, like if you don't use the pen often, it's gonna dry and clog, and I'm sure it happens with some pens, but I've never had any problems with this one. But I do think it's running low on ink, perhaps. Hopefully I will be able to finish inking this. Yeah, it feels really dry. Hold on. The desk holder for the platinum pen costs more than the pen. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything left in there? What's going on? Which ink would you recommend to use with watercolor? This one. The Platinum Carbon Black is the only ink I know of that dries fast, that doesn't smudge a lot, that is completely waterproof. Oh, there is ink in there. Why isn't it? Come on. Now where did I put the... Oh, there it is. These cartridges are quite difficult to squeeze. They're pretty hard. Or either that, or I'm really not strong in the fingers. Both are good options. Oh, I did something really dumb. I forgot to put the straps to the bag. I will not be licking the nib. I'm pretty sure carbon ink is not super tasty. I decided to dress Scout in more of a what is established more as a male hobbit outfit. Like I said, they don't establish a lot about the hobbits in the movies. But I figured that it really suited her better to be in pants rather than in a dress. Okay, so I will let this dry. I will try to make sense of this not awesome sketch, but yeah. Yeah, Otto, I guess I do. Like we were talking about, I don't know how we landed up on this, but we were talking about ring size the other day with Otto. And I was saying that I can almost never find rings small enough for me because I have to go into the kids section. Like the circumference of my finger is really small. I was measuring it, and like the index finger, which is like I don't wear any on the thumb, so that's out, but the index finger is about 5.56 at the most, depending on the size of the ring, but all the other ones are like smaller, and the pinky is like a 3, so that's like really small. So I can never get rings, which is why I mostly don't wear any. I saw that Otto mentioned the bulletproof inks by Noodlers. I've had such bad experience with Noodlers inks. Like, well, it's perhaps my fault as well, but I thought that water-resistant ink would be waterproof enough, but they really are not. They really, really are not. So I bought like a whole bottle of it, and it's just like sitting there unused. I much prefer the Platinum Carbon Black if I have to pick a waterproof ink. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. Noodler's ink are really affordable, and like it's a huge bottle. It's 90 milliliters, I think. But if you end up like not liking the ink or can't really use it for the purpose you had intended, it's just a bottle of useless ink. So yeah. So I decided that I would no longer buy anything from them because it's not clear enough whether or not the ink is waterproof. And I have like enough non-waterproof ink for a couple of lifetimes, so. Yeah, a good old big ballpoint is waterproof. You gotta let it dry though, because it's still oil-based ink, I think. So if you have blobs on your drawing, they may smudge. I like to use the Platinum Carbon Black ink and the pigment ink from Platinum in brown, sepia. Yeah. It's also waterproof and it also works really well. All right. Okay. It's not tea, it's stream juice. It's soy milk with maple syrup in it. Let me know if this gets super shaky. It often happens when I erase stuff. Yeah, stream juice is really awesome. Otto says that she loves stream juice with maple syrup so much now that she's trying to find excuses to make it when she's not streaming. It is pretty good. Alright, I think I will keep the mat. And now I need to decide which paints I'm going to use for this. Yeah, stream juice is just soy milk with maple syrup in this case. It's just something that Otto and I made up because doing a live stream is it demands a lot of resources, like in yourself when you stream. So we came up with this drink that has like sugar and a bit of protein, because it helps keeps the energy level at a decent place. And yeah, that's how we came up with it. It is not naughty. It sounds like something teenagers have at a party to make it seem like they aren't drinking booze, but it actually has a lot of booze in it, like jungle juice. That's so funny, Victoria. Stream juice involved going to a river. I could have done with the river this week. It was really hot. Alright, I found the palette. I will be using this weird one that is basically... Hold on, I will squeak into place. It's... Wow, these magnets are really lousy. But it is basically all the weird leftover Winsor & Newton colors that I have. A few of them were pans from the beginning, like this one, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one as well. But the other like tubes that I poured into pans, and at some point I had like a bunch of these and not any place where to put them, so I put them together in this one palette, and this is the colors. Oh, what is Havoc doing? Hi, Hercule Poirot. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them. Victor says that he bought a new office chair and had to send it back because it didn't squeak enough. Okay, let's call little Timo, who's surprised. No one. What is that third blue in second row? Like the third one here or the third blue here? I second the we need photos, Grace. That sounds way too cute. Okay, well, this is the third green. And I think it's just phthalo green. Blue shade. So Havoc is pushing stuff out from under a table to make a small little gap large enough for her floofy butt. That's so funny. For the longest time we didn't want the cats to go up on the fridge because I was worried that they would be able to get into the roof and or the walls from going like up the cupboards that are over the fridge and then into the construction of the building. So we had stuff on the fridge and they would regularly try to go there and throw everything on the ground. So eventually we cleared the space, made sure it was safe for them, and now they have free access to the top of the fridge because, yep, cats. Havoc is not a cat? Then what is it? She's a spawn of Satan. So she's a cat, right? At some point, like Mr. E made a joke comic that like he drew like this kind of devilish creature, and the devilish creature, like some sort of demon or whatnot, starts coughing and eventually coughs up a furball that is a hairball that is actually Scout. So because we made a joke that Scout is not a spawn of Satan as much as a hairball of Satan, and yeah, he drew it and it's pretty funny. Yeah, I've made multi-pigment mixes in handmade paints. Yeah, we think that's Scout's origins. Or perhaps any tortie's origins. Question. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have an Instagram account. It's Eve Bolt. Oh, thanks for putting the link up, Otto. Oh, hold on. So, Grace, are you fine with me showing the picture? Oh. Aww, so cute. She's so floofy. Yep, okay, so I can share the picture. I hope this is... I forgot to put my preview up, so I can't see. How long is this delay exactly? It's like insanely long. But there, that's Kitty. Okay, this should be better. Oh, that was kind of blurry, wasn't it? There, perhaps that's smaller but less blurry. She's a fluffier Peko. That's true. That's Winsor & Newton's Queen Gold, which is really pretty. It always falls a bit under the radar because Winsor & Newton is not a lot of people's favorite brand. Most people kind of find them a bit lackluster, me included, but they have good colors. Like, not all of them, like I am not a fan, I say that, but I get a bit annoyed at their basic 12 color set because they put a black and a white in there and they put their sap green and it's really hard to re-wet. I don't know why. I've had it in the tube and I find really annoying because it's hard to re-wet, but I mean, the colors I have here, they're all pretty nice. The indigo is super lovely, the neutral tint is nice, Queen Gold, Pearly Maroon, Green Gold. Opera, you know me. You know that the scarlet is nice and all the colors are decent, but I would much prefer to have like a basic color set that doesn't have the colors they put in the basic color set. It's not bad, it's just compared to the same choices of colors in other brands, it's sort of hard to give the edge to Winsor & Newton. Here's Victor. Victor says that when he was a kid he had 3 cats, all Siamese. Correction, they owned him. Yeah. Yep. Oops, hair. My posture is really not great. I will try to sit better. Otto is saying that she became so much happier when she stopped using Winsor & Newton. What was so unpleasant about the paints for you? Oh no, definitely stay away from Cutman if you can. They're not awesome. Student grade paints that I would recommend. If you can find the Schmincke Academy watercolors, they are really nice. So that would be the #1 recommendation, but I know that it's not easy to find for everyone, so if you can't find that one, look for the Aquafine tins, like the rectangular ones. They are really inexpensive and the paints in them is actually quite decent. It's easy to wet, it has nice pigment load, and yeah, you can, even the travel brush is rather nice in this set, and you can get a lot done with these. And like the 10 color sets, the 10 colors set is like $10. I think Van Gogh as a student range is also decent. Okay, so Otto is saying that she finds the colors are not as bright, are harder to wet, and are difficult on the paper. I haven't painted much with mine because I don't... Well, but what I have is basically in this set. Or in tubes. And I don't know why I don't have a dedicated Winsor Newton palette. It's the weird thing, you know, a lot of professional artists use those, but a lot of people really don't like them, so you're like, why is there such a difference in perspective between like artists in general in regards to the same thing? No, no, cheap koi paints, don't do that. Don't do that. Ah. Cotton paper is a great idea, but don't go for koi. In my opinion, of course. Oh yeah, White Knight's paints are a great grab if you can find them. I keep forgetting about them because they're not a student paint per se, but they would fit really well in that category because of the price and the fact that they come in full pans, which is pretty awesome. See, that's weird. I've had both experiences. I've had like the Prussian blue in tube re-wets super nicely from Winsor Newton, but I have here the rose doré and it really doesn't like it's a lot of work to re-wet, so I'm not sure what's going on here. You know, I have the same thing with Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith made me dislike ultramarine, French ultramarine, because it was so hard to re-wet, and like you would finally get a bit of color and it's like really weak. So I just find it super annoying. All brands have colors that are more difficult to re-wet than others. But why buy good paints and put them on cheap paper? Buy good paints and good paper. That's the thing. Oh, I love this one. The Perline, I think it's Perline Maroon from Winsor Newton, is just so lovely. Well, this is a really cheap paper because you can see it has patches that don't take the color, but it's super nice blood red. So hot press paper has this weird feature that when you put wet colors on it, it has a lot of a texture that looks like pilling. But when it dries, that texture goes away. So it's really unsettling at first when you've worked so hard on a drawing and you start painting it and you see all this stuff that looks like pilling, but then it goes away and you're like, whew, I can breathe again. It took me for a spin at the beginning. That's really cool. So Victor is saying that Michaels in the States started carrying the Daniel Smith dual primary set with watercolor ground in the same package. That's pretty great. Though I think the watercolor ground is perhaps something that's a bit more like say more of an intermediate level supply, because it's not super easy to figure out in my opinion, but it's nice that they start selling the two of them together. Okay, so I think that the discussion was a good recommendation for student paints, and in general, I guess, well, I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not, but I would say that student paints are not worth it. I think everyone who wants to paint should skip student paints altogether, and perhaps look towards the more professional stuff. Find the least expensive professional range for them, and get like a primary triad of cyan, magenta, and yellow, and that professional range of paints. And then you get good cotton paper, and you get one good brush, and you start with that. That would be my starter package. Because this way, when you learn how to handle this stuff, you learn with tools that will not be the problem. If you try to learn to paint with tools that will fight you, that's really frustrating. You're better off with tools that will help you, and also tools that will help you, good quality tools, paper, brushes, and paints, you will be able to resell them afterwards. If you realize you hate this, and you really want to be rid of this stuff, like other professional artists will buy this stuff from you. If you have taken good care of the brush and it's still nice, you can sell it, no problem. The paints, people will buy them, no problem either. And the paper, yeah. So if you buy cheap stuff, no one is gonna buy a leftover Canson XL pad. You can give it away, sure, but it's just not as much an investment as getting the real stuff. And as for the cotton paper, I think you can start with like an imperial sheet. Imperial sheets are about, I don't know, $4 to $6 perhaps. And a lot of places where you can buy imperial sheets of watercolor paper. An imperial sheet is 22 inches by 30 inches, but a lot of places that sell them, they will often have a place when you can get them cut. So you can ask them, like, can you cut this in like eighths? Like half and half and half. And then you live there with a stack of paper that is a decent size, good quality paper, and you can perhaps really get a lot more of learning done from that, because you don't have to question every single stroke you make. As say you do a stroke and you don't like it, well, you know that you have to practice your technique if your tools are all good. But if you have cheap tools and you do a stroke and you're like, it doesn't look good, is it the brush? Is it the paint? Is it the paper? Is it the practice? How can you start fixing a problem when you don't know where to work it? And instead of putting money into the cheap stuff, I really think you're better off putting money into good stuff. Because ultimately, if you realize that you're frustrated because it doesn't paint well and you decide to buy the good stuff anyway, well, you have all this cheap stuff that costs money and that doesn't, you know, it just takes up space and it's basically useless. So yeah, that's my rant about supplies. Stream juice. Should a beginner go straight to Arches paper? Yes. I think so. What is a decent brand of cotton paper that isn't too pricey? Well, it depends on how you buy it. The pads, like the pads, not the blocks, the pads, the ones that are glued just on one side. Hold on. Crud, where is it? Ooh, paper pad. Okay. Alright, got one. So this Arches cold press 140 pounds cotton paper. This is a pad, so it means that it's just glued on the top. As you can see, like the glue is here, the rest is loose. That's 20 bucks for 12 sheets. It's 9 by 12. If I was starting, I would probably work on half sheets, so that gives you 24 sheets for $20. That's one thing I would consider buying. You can buy imperial sheets and get them cut. That's also really affordable because one sheet is perhaps $5. And if you cut them, well, a half sheet is still big, a quarter sheet is still a big size, so you can get away with a height, like heights of, is that half sheet, quarter sheet? Yeah, a height of a sheet is really a manageable size. And that would be like, what, $5, and you get 8 sheets of that. What else? The Stonehenge is the aqua paper from Stonehenge cotton. It really depends on where you live and what is affordable for you, what you can find easily. But yeah, if you are unsure about a paper, trying an imperial sheet first of that paper is a good way to test the paper, see if you like it or not. Oh no! Havoc does not like Christmassy crystal. What's happening? I would also suggest to stay away from 90-pound paper because it buckles a lot. Try to get 140 pounds if you can. That's just a lot more fun to use. Hi, Lena. Yeah, and I'm speaking like Canadian dollars. I don't know what's the price of these things in other currencies. But I know that the Canadian dollar is butt, so it's probably good prices for everyone else. Oh no, he's meowing. Oh. Oh, cats. Grace is saying, and don't try stretching paper as a beginner. They almost gave up watercolor because their gum tape did not work well. Gum tape is not a beginner's tool. It's really weird to figure out, and it's annoying, and it's a bit archaic. I'm sorry, but yeah, gum tape is awful. It's a pain in the butt to use, and it basically creates this margin on the paper that you can't salvage. You have to cut the tape and the paper off. There are many other ways to flatten a sheet of paper. Oh, Stephen, the Arches block should have a space that is left white. That is the space where you can insert a tool to split a sheet. Like this is a sheet from an Arches block, and you can see, I don't know if it will show on camera, but there is a space here that is white. That's the hole. The rest was all glued in black. Chewing gum tape is bad for the ugh. Yes, you can flatten paper after painting on it. There are many videos about that on YouTube. Yeah, it's the brown one. Disgusting gum tape. It's basically, you know, well, perhaps you guys don't know. Well, if you are old enough to remember a time when stamps had to be licked or wet on the back to stick to things, like when they were not stickers, it's basically the same kind of stuff. Like the gum paper, you cut the length you need, pass it through water, remove the excess water, and then use it to glue the soaked sheet of watercolor paper to a board. And then you let all that dry, but you cannot remove the tape afterwards. You really have to cut off the paper and the tape. And I don't know, like the glue, I don't remember if the glue is super archival, but yeah. Okay. I need to keep up with this, right? Question Eve, where did you buy your Hahnemuhle Leonardo paper? It was sent to me. I'm so sorry, I can't give a better answer than that. And I'm also really bummed because that means that when I run out, it's gonna be over. I will be completely out of this super awesome paper. And that doesn't sit well with me. hope I didn't miss. Eve used to have 20 cats. She exchanged some of them for super nice paper. I would never. Thank you, Paolo. Yeah, people in Europe will have a much easier time finding the Leonardo Honey Mule. People in North America much less so. I don't think Jackson sells it, and I am not sure. Great Art doesn't ship outside of the UK, I think. Is the that honey mule paper the super thick one? Because I really love that paper. I will be making a review on this paper when the honey mule ones, when I've made more paintings with them, because I really want to get a good feel for the papers before I do the review. So that's why I've been sitting on a bunch of honey mule supplies for a bit now, because I'm trying to use them to see, like, what do I have to say about these? Are they good? Are they comparable to other things? Like, what is going on exactly? Yes, please, don't forget to like this stream. Thanks, Otto. Oh, wow, so it's a brand new Arches block, Stephen. Yeah, the first page on the Arches block is all black. And then you have to remove that one, and then you get to the watercolor paper. And then you can either work it as a block or remove sheets. Well, I had to do Scout's little orange patch on her head. I hope that Honey Mule is trying to break into the US market. They really need to bring this awesome Leonardo paper to us. Question, have you done a video talking about your 5 brands and types of paper? I haven't, because I am not super knowledgeable about the papers. I've been sketching for a really long time, but I just sketch in whatever sketchbooks, and it's not really conducive to forming a good opinion on paper. So I've been trying, especially with the live streams, to make a lot more illustrations so I can test out papers and then have something to say about them. Like a more relevant opinion of the papers, like how do they behave when you want to paint something that is not just a quick sketch. I'm gonna let this dry a bit. I will switch over to this silly thing. Hey, hi April. So nice to see you. The paints I'm using are Winsor and Newton. A bunch of random paints that were often unused. I put together in the same set. Christian, is that a supernatural illustration? It is. It is a supernatural illustration. Oh, how is Belarus, April? Oh, Elf is asking, hi Health by the way, is asking what colors do you recommend for beginners besides or including the split primaries? It depends on how many colors you want to start with. The split primaries at 6 colors is a really good place to start, and you can add perhaps a good burnt sienna and yellow ochre if you want a bit more range, like easily with these colors. I'm thinking. Colors for beginners. How to trigger an artist. Red, yellow, and blue are primary colors because they can't be mixed. Yeah, that's a good way to start a rant. So yeah, I think at the beginning it's a bit difficult to know which colors you will like. So I think for starting, if you really want a prudent approach to all of this, you could start with only cyan, magenta, and yellow, and really learn to mix these three before buying any other colors, because in mixing these three you will find colors. You will find what kind of mix you can make from these three colors, and then once you're familiar with that, if you look at the paint display in any store, you will be more able to spot which colors you can't mix. So which colors it will really, which colors would make for a really nice addition to your palette, instead of buying too many at first and realizing that you didn't need that one because you can mix it, or you don't use it, or you know, this kind of stuff. So you can really start with cyan, magenta, and yellow, see what that gives you. You can start with a split primary, so you have a warm and a cool red, a warm and a cool yellow, a warm and a cool blue, and see what that gives you, and then you can add more colors. But you're better off starting with less colors than too many, in my opinion. Oh, Paulo, you absolutely need Windsor Violet. It's the one I have here. It's super nice. You definitely need that one. Oh, thanks for the link, Otto. Yeah, Otto has put up a link that is the series on watercolors for beginner that I did. And I really take a lot of time to show what the cyan, magenta, yellow triad can do for you, and how awesome it is, and how much of a good starting point it is. So if you are curious and want to see a bit more of what I mean, you can go check that out. A question to all. If a Sennelier paint has the pigment listed as NR, what does that mean? Anyone know? That's not the color I wanted. Is the color, Jacqueline, NR with a number or just NR? Thanks for the link about my big rant. Just NR, okay, because if it says NR9, that means like natural red 9. But if it means NR, if it's just NR, I think it's probably not rated. Oh, hi, Lindy. That's true. Jackson has a really awesome paper sale this week. So if you are looking for paper, now's a good time to check it out. Oh, hi, Josefina. Thanks for the link, Otto. That's true. Yeah, we were talking about this in Otto stream, I think, but about the affiliate links. Like, if you buy something on Jackson's, and you could easily look out for either my link or Otto has a link. Dan from Penholder Art also has a link. Denise from In Liquid Color, and Cyan. I don't think I've forgotten anyone, but we all have affiliate links. So if you use one of our links to do your purchase, First, it doesn't cost you anything more, which is pretty awesome. And then there's a small percentage of your purchase that will go to our credits. And when we have enough credits, it means we can get more supplies for more videos. So that's a pretty awesome way to make sure that your favorite YouTubers can keep on doing their thing. And it costs you nothing more than your purchase anyway. So I think that's pretty great. Please don't break me. Aww. I'm reading at the chat. Question, are your kitties still fighting with each other, Eve? Scout seems to be so angry in this illustration. She's always super angry, like that's her life. But she has mellowed a lot. She's no longer like hissing and growling and being just angry at Peko for no real reason. Yeah, they really have gone back to their usual behaviors, which is such a relief. And Peko is being like extra adorable. They're both sleeping right now. They were so melted last week. It was so hard on them, the heat. Like, I don't think, well, okay, the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but cats and dogs, but I'm talking about cats. But anyway, cats, they don't sweat. They cannot sweat. They don't have really the glands for it. The only way they can express a bit of heat is through their toe pads. So when it's really super duper hot, they will withstand the heat better than perhaps other animals. But yeah, when it's like a heat wave, you still gotta make sure they are fine. So I kept checking on them and making sure they have water and thing to cool down, and I would give them more like wet food than usual, so they would have at least that. Yes, Grace is saying that's the torty temper. apparently torties are super temperamental, and from what I've seen, that does seem to be the case. I've yet to meet a tortie that wasn't very temperamental and very vocal. Mine is whining all the time. Like, what's the matter with you? Nothing is wrong with her. She's just like noisy. Oddly enough, this palette by Winsor & Newton, since it's mostly like a weird array of colors that I picked up here and there, is mostly comprised of colors I really like. So it's a lot of fun to paint with. Like it has Pearly Maroon, which I really like, and Indigo, and it has one Terre Verte, which is this one. I think it's yellow shade, which I really like as a super light color. And then it has Opera, because you know me, and Dioxazine Violet, which is a Winsor Violet in their range, and then Queen Gold by Winsor & Newton again, Green Gold, which I also really like. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh no! Bunnies can sweat too. They repel heat from their ears. I know Bon Bon is feeling hot when his ears are hot. Oh, poor Bon Bon! Cats lick the fur over their bodies to distribute saliva that will evaporate to cool them down, much like sweat would do. I wonder, because I'm not sure they get to the skin. So will that work anyway? Okay, what is 35 about? I missed something. Oh, that's so true. Tsuka was saying that torties they love being with their humans and being in charge. There is a tortie in the neighborhood that is like textbook description of that. Like, she chose her human. She was like, "You, sir, are my human," and she loves him so much. And she will go to the guy and like rub against his leg and purr and be like super duper in love with the dude, but everyone else is like, nah, you're not my chosen human. I really don't care about you. And I think that's so funny. And she has like that tortie frown thing going on. So yeah, she's I love her a lot. I keep saying that if something was to happen and the dude could not continue taking care of her, I would definitely try to see if we can find her a new home or do something to help her, because I think my heart would break if I did nothing. Over here, I think perhaps Mr. E is Scout's chosen human. She's always sleeping on him. She's sitting on him when we eat. She really likes to be with him. Oh, the number of primitive colors. Oh, okay. Thank you for answering that question. Cats descended from a desert cat. Did I say that right? Desert? I think so. So they handle heat pretty well as long as they have water. Yeah, that's what I heard. But then yeah, you get the cats like it's already hot and you find them laying in the sun and it's just like you're not hot enough. You have fur. It's already 1,000,000,000 degrees and you decide to go lay down in the sun. I could cook an egg on you, cat. You're so hot. Do you think cat haters just met a tortie that didn't care about them? Oh, that's a good hypothesis, Grace. I do think I am almost done with this one. Oh, that's so cute, Victoria. Victoria's saying that her Riley was a tortie and chose her and her brother as her people, and she was this tiny thing and wanted to run the house. She was such a character. That sounds like a tortie. Like you wouldn't have told me it was a tortie, and I would have asked anyway because I'm like, that really sounds like tortie behavior. Okay, so Grace has sent a new picture of Kitty. It's okay if I show it, right? She's so cute. Elf is saying that they swear their tortie is part tiger. When she gets too hot, she will literally jump into the bathtub and get wet. That's pretty cool. Speaking of... Hello! Hello, baby! Hello! Come on, come say hi to the people on chat. Ready? Boop! Don't stare into the big lights, baby. Papa. Big ball. Yeah, baby. That's Pecco. Hi, Pecco. She was napping, but I guess she woke up. She's the only cat I've ever been able to flip like this, and she really doesn't mind. What's up? Did you recognize you? She has a head in her body. Like, you know, no neck. Okay, you're hot. You're really warm, kitty. Up. Okay, so that's the picture Grace sent me. Do you get her hair partly cut up? Like, do you, what's the word I'm looking for? Do you get Kitty a shave for the summer? Yeah, Pecco and Scout, they're not big cats. They're, oh, she put so much hair into my water. I can see the hairs on top of the water. But yeah, they are small cats. Ah non, tu n'étais pas parti? Non, tu continues à merder? Bon. Yeah, Pecco is really back to her normal self. Which is such a relief. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? She's exploring exploring the studio. Oh wow, so that's just grooming. Huh. I think it's pretty awesome that both Grace and I have a female ginger cat. It's not that common. Oui, oui, je parle français. Je parle québécois en fait. I speak French. I speak French Canadian, actually. Huh. So Grace's cat, Kitty, just showed up as a kitten at their husband's family's house. Cats are funny. Cats, they really have a not an, I don't want to say an agenda because that sounds way too serious, but they do things like just the first story that comes to mind is the story of the cat that decided that this firefighter station was going to be his home. So he walked in and greeted the firefighters and was like, "Hey guys, is it cool if I stay here?" And he's been staying in the station, like it's sort of their mascot. But yeah, the cats just did his cat thing and was like, "Oh, yep, that's what I want to do. That's my thing now." Ah, that's nice help. Where are you? So that you speak classic French. Alright, so I think I'm done. So I can quickly recap, but I had two drawings that I drew prior to the stream. I had this one, which was my cats as hobbits, because they eat like 1,000,000 times in a day, so I thought it was fitting. And they like adventure, but only in the confine of their home, which I thought was fitting. And I also doodled this super quick, slightly random supernatural sketch, because it's been on my brain. So I had this as a side piece that I like to say. This is a main piece, and I decided to choose a palette featuring Winsor & Newton colors that are basically just a bunch of random pans that I have. There is really no rhyme or reason to any of them. It's just a bunch of colors that either I got at some point or thought were pretty, or like I know that eventually I didn't know the difference between Cutman and Pro at some point. So I had like a Cutman set with a few Pro paints in it, because those were the only pans I could find locally, were a couple of Pro Winsor & Newton pans. So anyway, bunch of random stuff, and many of them are like from tubes. So I just put them all in this palette, and I thought that the colors here would really match what I had in mind for the paintings. So that's what I did. I inked with the Platinum Carbon pen that is waterproof, and then I put some colors. And this is Arch's Hot Press in 140 pound. It's not fully dried yet, but you can see that it did not like warp too much with such a light water application. And this one, this one I don't remember what it is, but I'm experimenting with this cream colored paper, and I gotta say I really like it. I love the cream color, it's so super nice. And yeah, that's basically a quick recap of what happened today. We'll try to get everything in the screen. And take this away. Oh, thank you guys. Glad you like the paintings. Okay, well, if you have any questions, now's a good time to ask. I am staring at the chat, mostly done painting. So, oh no! Cyan, run! Bring that puppy outside, quick! Which color is the one used for the foliage on the back? Well, it probably doesn't look quite right on camera, but it is... Let me pop the pen. It is Winsor & Newton... what do they call it? They call it Terre Verte, I think? Yeah, Terre Verte... yellow shade. It's a very light yellow-green. That's about as strong as it gets. It doesn't get any more strong than that. I didn't have to dilute it a lot to get this color. I hope that answers the question. Oh, and I gotta clarify, I know this looks like a little boy hobbit, but it's a little girl hobbit that's a bit of a tomboy. Because I feel like if Scout was to be a tomboy, she wouldn't want to wear dresses and bows and stuff that her sisters like, her sister likes. Because as much as they are sisters, they don't really get along. So yeah, like, she's in red, she's in green. She has cute girly hair with a bow. She has a tomboy look. Yeah. Question, what papers are those again? Arches hot press 140 pound. I don't remember. Is it Bockingford cream colored paper? That's a possibility. Question, have you spoken about the new pen or liners you have that you mentioned on Instagram? What is it? For the elf drawing? Scout is gender fluid, yep. Oh, well, good night, April. Squeak. It's getting hot. It's a good thing I'm done because whew, I cannot have the window open because of the noise outside, but yeah, it is pretty steamy in here. That was not the one. So yeah, what I posted on Instagram today, it's a sketch I did with I wanted to test out this Tombow brush pen. I don't remember the name of them, but this one is the soft one. I also have the hard one, but I don't really like it. So yeah, I tried inking. I tried inking with this one. So that's the liner I was probably mentioning. I haven't tried Arches 300 pounds. I hope I will eventually, but yeah, it's a bit pricey. It's like $20 for a sheet. Yikes! Have you thought about selling outline drawings? What is that? What is outline drawings? Alright, so I don't see any more questions. I will bid you all a super awesome day and a great weekend. I hope you find a bit of time to paint this weekend. That's always a great thing. And yeah, if you don't feel like painting, yeah, it could be a Fudenosuke. I don't remember. But oh, like for coloring? Like selling outlines? I am really not familiar for that. I'm familiar with like line art, but selling that as a finished piece, not necessarily something that is meant to be more than that. Alright, so thank you guys. Have a super awesome weekend. Take care, be careful in the heat, drink water. Make sure your pets have water and give your pets plenty of hugs that they will not appreciate if they are cats. Yeah, so thanks a lot. Take care everyone and bye bye.